Hello and welcome to That Was Golf. My name is Calum MacVicar. Thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the Weekly Review, where we bring you highlights and stats from last week's golfing action on many of the men's and women's professional tours from around the world. A busy week of action to unpack with two majors and the annual US Adaptive Open to look at. We start this week with the fourth women's major of the year, the Evian Championship, held at the Evian Resorts Golf Club in Evian-les-Bains in France. Winning here was Hairan Ryu. After securing her first major just 14 days ago at the Women's PGA Championship, Hairan Ryu is now a two-time major winner, going back-to-back in majors, the second player to do so this season after Nelly Korda won the Chevron and the US Women's Open earlier in the year. Ryu's run to the final saw her shoot an incredible, flawless 60-11 under par in round 3, the lowest round ever recorded in a women's major. Her final round would fare a little differently as she shot an even par 71, allowing previous Evian Championship winner Brooke Henderson to gain pace. Henderson's final round of 64-7 under was a truly remarkable one, and worthy of the challenge to the title, as she made an eagle followed by a hole-in-one on the front 9, and closed out for an eagle on 18, which forced her way into a playoff with Ryu. The spectacular run would however end there, with Ryu making birdie to Henderson's par on the first rerun of the 18th hole. On the PGA Champions Tour, it was the Kaulig Companies Championship held at Firestone Country Club in Akron, Ohio, USA. Winning here was Zach Johnson. In the fourth men's senior major of the year, Zach Johnson set himself well above the field to finish on 15 under par, a whopping 6 shots clear of Boo Weekley in second place, to gain a first senior men's major to go alongside his previous men's majors at the Masters and the Open. This is Johnson's third win on the PGA Tour Champions in his debut season, with the win earning him a start at the 2027 edition of the Players. Over on the Tartan Pro Tour, it was the Blair Gowrie Perthshire Masters presented by the R&A, held at Blair Gowrie Golf Club, the Lansdowne course in Blair Gowrie, Scotland. Winning here was Sam Lock. A second win of the 2026 season and a 10th overall on the Tartan Pro Tour for Sam Lock, as he ran out a winner on a score of 15 under, one shot ahead of Robbie Morrison in second place. Lock made 2 bogey-free rounds on his way to victory, a 5 under 67 in round 1 and a 64-8 under in round 3, which was either side of a 72 under in round 2. Lock moves to third place in the order of merit thanks to this win, closing down on Michael Stewart, who is now in second place after being passed by John Vogelpohl at the top of the leaderboard. Out on the PGA Tour Americas, it was the Explore NB Open, held at Mactaquac Golf Course in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. Winning here was Thomas Ponder. A debut win and a jump to first in the seasons-long points list for Thomas Ponder this weekend, as his final score of 28 under par gave him a lead of 3 shots over Evan Knight in solo second place. Ponder's run to the trophy saw him score rounds of 63, 66, 62 and 65 at the par 71 course, with his round 3 score of a bogey-free 62 9 under equaling the lowest round of the weekend that was also shot by Evan Knight and Zach Smith, who finished second and third respectively. Out on the JLPGA, it was the Minibao Matsumi Ladies Hokkaido Shinbun Cup, held at Mokmanai Country Club in Sapporo, Hokkaido, Japan. Winning here was Keina Nagai. A second win on the JLPGA Tour for Keina Nagai. Her first in 9 years was won with some excellent golf throughout the weekend. After missing out in a playoff last week, a 19 under par final score and 3-shot lead over Mayu Abe in second place was enough to seal victory this week. An opening round of 69 3 under par and closing of 72 under par bookended 2 bogey-free rounds of 63 9 under and 67 5 under to account for her final score. There were 2 co-sanctioned events between the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour this week. The first was the Scottish Open, held at the Renaissance Club in North Berwick, Scotland. Winning here was Tom Kim. A 3-year wait for win number 4 on the PGA Tour was realised by Tom Kim this weekend, as his excellent final round of 64 6 under par helped him leapfrog round 3 leaders Minwoo Lee, Robert McIntyre and Matt Fitzpatrick to the title. Kim finished on 17 under par, 2 shots ahead of Minwoo Lee in solo second place, and must feel reassured that his golf is back to his scintillating best that saw him capture 3 titles in 2 years between 2022 and 2023. The Renaissance Club, now in its 8th year of hosting the tournament, obviously holds a special place on the tour for some players, as 3 previous winners of the Scottish Open featured in the top 10, with McIntyre, Lee and Rory McIlroy all in contention, and last year's winner Chris Gotterup close as well in tied 11th. The second event was the ISCO Championship, held at Hurstbourne Country Club in Louisville, Kentucky, USA. Winning here was Stephen Fisk. Stephen Fisk is a 2-time winner on the PGA Tour in as many years, thanks to a hard-fought playoff victory against Taylor Pendrith. On the way to the playoff, both players shot the lowest rounds of the weekend, a pair of 63 7 under pars at the par 70 course, with the 2 players eventually being separated by 3 trips down the 18th hole in the playoff, with the 3rd trip seeing Fisk score a par to Pendrith's bogey. The USGA presented the US Adaptive Open last week, which was held at Woodmont Country Club South Course in Rockville, Maryland, USA. Winning the overall men's event was Kip Poppert, and winning the overall women's event was Kim Moore. The 5th US Adaptive Open took place in Maryland last week, bringing a field of 96 of the world's best golfers with disabilities into a 54-hole competitive tournament. For the first time, this year's event offered qualifying rounds for the players to enter the tournament, and 12 competitors made their debuts at the 2026 edition. Kip Poppert won the men's overall event, claiming his 4th straight title, the most repeat wins at a USGA event by any male player in history, with a score of 18 under par and 6 shots clear of Simon Seung-Moon Lee. Kim Moore won the women's event for the 3rd time, following her wins in 2022 and 2025, making 3 successive rounds of 76 4 over par, for a score of 12 over and 6 shots clear of 2 players in 2nd place. As well as overall tournament winners, players are separated into 8 individual impairment categories, with men's and women's winners in each one. In the coordination impairment, Bailey Bish won the women's event while Kip Poppert was the men's winner. In the intellectual impairment, Sung Young Kim won for the women and Simon Seung-Moon Lee won for the men. In the lower limb impairment, Kim Moore was the winner for the women and Lachlan Wood was the winner for the men. In the multiple limb amputee category, Rose Veldman won for the women and Jordan Thomas won for the men. For the seated players, Annie Hayes won in the women's category and Max Togisala won in the men's category. Brendan Lawler won in the men's short stature category. In the upper limb impairment category, Sophia Howard won for the women and Justin Carlock won for the men. And lastly, in the vision impairment category, Amanda Cunha won in the women's category, while Kiefer Jones won in the men's. On the Hotel Planner Tour, it was the German Challenge, held at Witzelbacher Golf Club in Neuburg an der Donau in Germany. Winning here was Lars van der Vight. Becoming the 4th player in Hotel Planner Tour history to card a 59 is a pretty good way to mark the occasion of a first win on the tour for Lars van der Vight. The Dutchman, whose round 2 59, which astonishingly was bogey-free and included 11 birdies and an eagle, finished on a score of 17 under par and 1 shot clear of last week's winner Julian Sale. The win sees Van der Vight move into 13th place on the Road to Mallorca Order of Merit after featuring in 10 events this season. Out on the EU Legends Tour, it was the OFX Irish Legends, held at Carton House in Maynooth, County Kildare, Ireland. Winning here was Johan Edfors. A first win on the EU Legends Tour for Johan Edfors, as he rounded out an excellent weekend of golf on 17 under par and 3 shots ahead of Robert Coles in solo 2nd place. Edfors' final round, a bogey-free 66 6 under par, was the lowest of any player in the final round by 4 shots, with no other player breaking 70. Edfors makes a jump to 4th place in the season's Order of Merit thanks to this win. Out on the Epsom Tour, it was the Four Winds Invitational held at Blackthorn Golf Club in South Bend, Indiana, USA. Winning here was Hayley Harford Sanchez. Despite an opening round 73 1 over par, Hayley Harford Sanchez still went on to claim her first title on the Epsom Tour and break the 54-hole scoring record for the Four Winds Invitational in the process. A bogey-free 65 7 under in round 2, followed by a terrific 63 9 under in round 3, catapulted Harford Sanchez up the leaderboard and into a two-shot lead over Megan Streicher in second place. Some truly stunning golf to secure a first win, and thanks to the win, Harford Sanchez moves into 11th place in the Race for the Card Order of Merit standings. Out on the KLPGA, it was the Haiwan Resort Ladies Open, held at Haiwan Country Club in Yongsun-kun, Gangwon-do, South Korea. Winning here was Jui Ko. Despite a final round of 2 over 75, Jui Ko had built up such an unassailable lead that she still finished 5 shots clear of 2 players in second place. The wire-to-wire victory came thanks to rounds of 64, 67, 64 and 75 for a total score of 22 under par. The win moves Ko up 28 places in the official season's money list and up 19 places to 12th place in the KLPGA points list. Out on the Clutch Pro Tour, it was the Hertfordshire Classic, held at the Hertfordshire Golf and Country Club in Hertfordshire, England. Winning here was Habibul Islam. After a win last week on the Clutch Pro Tour Tier 2 level of competition, Habibul Islam is now a winner on the Tier 1 of the tour. Alongside an opening round of 67 and a closing round of 63 at the par 69 course, Islam's standout round was his round 2, a bogey-free 62 7 under par that was rounded out with a hole-in-one on the 182-yard 18th hole. The win now moves Islam up to 10th place in the Tier 1 Order of Merit after only making 2 starts there, as well as sitting first place in the Tier 2 Order of Merit after 5 events. On the Corn Ferry Tour, it was the Blue Championship held at TPC Colorado in Berthoud, Colorado, USA. Winning here was Ross Steelman. After 3 years and 68 starts on the Corn Ferry Tour, Ross Steelman can now call himself a winner as he lifted his first title. Steelman, who became the 11th first-time winner on the tour this season, is the 5th successive player to convert a 54-hole lead, finishing on 22 under par and 1 shot clear of Tommy Morrison in second place. With the win, Steelman makes a jump into 4th place on the season's points list, closing in on Doc Redman, Cole Sherwood and Ian Holt, who are in 1st to 3rd respectively. And lastly this week we head to the Ladies European Tour Access Series, where it was the Women's English Open, held at the Manchester Golf Club in Manchester, England. Winning here was Terica Zapletal-Kozylahova. 5 years since turning pro, Terica Zapletal-Kozylahova claimed her first professional win, beating Hyunji Kang by 1 stroke in Manchester. After a fantastic opening round 66 6 under par, 2 rounds of 69 3 under helped Kozylahova to her winning total of 12 under and subsequently into 9th place on the season's Order of Merit. In round 2, Talia Martin equalled the course record with a 63 9 under par that included 11 birdies and 2 bogeys, but would eventually fall from tied first in round 2 to tied third after a closing round 73 1 over par. And for another week, that was golf. Thank you so much for listening in to this episode. If you like what we do here at That Was Golf, be sure to check us out on Instagram at ThatWasGolfPod and subscribe to the podcast to stay up to date with all future episodes released every Tuesday, 7 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.